Do you know how to use the 7 most powerful verbs in English? Well, you know what they are. We have do, have, make, get, go, put, take. They sound easy, and you know what each one means, but can you really use them in detail? Do you understand all the different ways that they can be combined with other words? Well, of course not. Probably nobody knows. But the point is that taking time to master these 7 verbs will really help develop your fluent, smooth, natural English. Let's take a look today at using one of those words, the last one I said, take. It's used in so many different ways. So take a listen to this story and see how many you can count. I decided to take a trip to a park by a lake. After taking a half-hour walk around it, I took a seat on a bench. I took in the view while I took a moment to relax. Then I took out my smartphone to take a picture of the boats on the lake. I took a look at it and I took a deep breath because it took me back to my childhood when my parents used to take my sister and me on boating holidays. We'd take a boat down a series of rivers, exploring new places every day, and my dad would let me take control of the boat while my sister would take care of the navigation. My mum and I would take turns to point out interesting places along the way. Sometimes we'd take a break to take a visit to one of the riverside villages to take a taste of the local food. You know, I wish I could take a journey back in time to those days. As I left the park, I took a look back over my shoulder at the boats as I slowly took the road back home. How many did you catch? I used a combination of take and took, but in total, you should have found 20. That's 20 times I used the same verb in about 1 minute and 11 seconds, I think it was. Now that's crazy, of course, that's too much, but it shows you some of the variety that take has, the different ways that it can be used. So how can you master using take? Well, of course, the best way is through listening and reading and getting as much input as you can. You will learn them naturally over time. But I do think that it's worth taking the time to have a look in your dictionary and just read through, pull out, find interesting ways to use take. Let's take a look at the Oxford Dictionary. This is my favorite dictionary, the Advanced Learners Dictionary. And this shows us 42 ways that the verb take is used. Now on top of that, we have phrasal verbs, we have idioms, and we have nouns as well. There are so many different ways to use it. The problem is, which ones are used the most and which ones are actually useful? Well, that of course takes time to discover and takes experience. But you can use Google's Ngram book viewer. This can help us to identify which ways are used more, which ways are used less, which ways are increasing, which ways are decreasing. Let's take a couple of examples and test it. We'll take the biscuit. Here's a biscuit. Let's have a look at biscuit. Okay, copy that in. And in biscuit, here we go. We've got idioms. Take the biscuit is British English. I agree with that. Also, take the cake is North American English and also in British English, sure. It is informal. It means to be the most surprising, the most annoying, etc. Thing that has happened or that somebody has done. For example, you've done some stupid things before, but this really takes the biscuit. Good phrase. Let's see if this really takes the biscuit. Shows up on Ngram. So this is the Google Ngram viewer, which shows us the frequency of words and phrases in books that Google has scanned, covering 1800 to 2019. Let's drop this really takes the biscuit in here. Let's see what comes up. Whoa! Okay, it's already taken off. since 2000. Wow. Okay. And if we just did takes the biscuit, it'll go longer because people are actually taking a biscuit. If you compare it to takes the cake, takes the cake is higher than takes the biscuit, probably because of the influence of American English. What if we just put this at the front of it, in front of it? This, we can break this into American English. You can see takes the cake is much higher. Let's go back and pick up another example. Go back to take. Take also has a few nouns. I think there are 3. Here we go. We've got nouns 1, 2, and 3. Particularly number 3 I want to take a look at. So take on something is informal. The particular opinion or idea that somebody has about something. For example, what's his take on the plan? Which means, what does he think about the plan? What's his opinion? How does he feel about the plan? This is a great expression. I like this one. We drop that in as well. By itself. Really taken off in the last couple of decades. If you compare that to what's your opinion on? Wow, it's higher. It's actually higher. That really surprises me. What about what's your opinion about something? They're similar. Interesting. If we did, what you can do with Ngram is find out which prepositions work. So if we did, what's your take about? Doesn't exist. Can't find it. So we know that what's your take on is correct. Okay. So what's your take on? It's great. Again, you can go and take a look at some examples. What's your take on the time it will take to manufacture this one? What's your take on volcano? What is volcano here? It's capitalized. It's the name of something. The founder. Okay, it's a company name. CEO of Volcano. As you can see, you can go in and actually look at it in detail if you like. Okay, that's how you can use Ngram to help you get a better understanding of any words, phrases, grammar points. Really useful. Please try it. I hope that gives you some taste of a few different ways that take can be used and how you can find out which ways are most used. It's going to take you time to learn, not just using take, but using the other 6 verbs that I talked about. But that investment on looking at what you might think are basic verbs will really pay off in the future, will really help you to improve your English. Now I can make another 20 videos about using take and another 20 videos are for each of those other 6 ways. And maybe I will, but in the meantime, go and pick up a dictionary and start checking off some of the ways that you can use it, the ways that are interesting for you to use these different verbs. Honestly, it'll make such a big difference to your English. And if you need help, just ask me. I'm always here to help you whenever I can.